And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another, to the same day actually, to another broadcast here of the CranKy Ducklings, the OSC Elite Rising Star number 16. Your seasonal tournament to determine the rising stars in StarCraft 2. I'm of course OSC VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different, something special to the OSC Elite event, the Rising Star event. Again, players are going to be coming in from all around the world, and they are all up and comers. Again, we're not going to be featuring these stable names and your mainstays, even like Cyril, like Rainer, like Maru or Björn or anything like that. Instead, we're going to be featuring some of these other up-and-coming players instead. We're going to foster the scene, we're going to help grow the player base, of course, and to give a bit of a limelight, or give the limelight to some of these deserving players. Now, for those that are curious, the OSC Elite Rising Star number 15 tournament champion was Jumi. Jumi did win that event, and he's also going to be reprising his role in this tournament as well, and we'll see if he can pull off another win. This is a big event, I should emphasize that as well. A lot of players, double elimination, and this event will take months to resolve. Here we go. Here we go. I want to say that the previous event took like 2 to 3 months to kind of get through and to work through as well. So it can take some time back. It can take so here we go. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at it yourselves. The bracket is live. The bracket is stacked. And oh, there it is. And here we go. Now, this morning we already had our first broadcast. We had our first broadcast covering this event, and we covered 5 best of 3s. 5 best of 3s. Here you can see them. Art versus Geomek, Art versus F2 Click, different arts. We had Sebestes, we had Hydra, we had Inexorable, we were featuring Shameless. Art had a big win over Shameless as well. I was favoring Shameless in that series, so we have already resolved a portion of the bracket, but there's still so much more ahead of us. Again, to feature and to kind of name drop a couple of these players here, you can see from the top we have Nikrat, we have Hatsu, we have Mixu, Honmono, Papi, Art, the other Art, Shameless, Inexorable, Sebestes, Hydra, F2 Click, Sig, MindelVK, Percival, Mini Zerg, Moja, Jimmy, Baby Marine, Night Phoenix, Duty Soldier, Demi, and Young Jakob. Here we go. And Jomek as well. I hope I didn't gloss over anyone. But yeah, it is again a very stacked bracket, and as you can see, double elimination. Double elimination as well. The way this tournament works is that players, they actually play their matches ahead of time. They play them out ahead of time. They submit the matches just because there are so many of them, and we do broadcast every single match here and now. I say we, typically I believe Eddie does kind of rotate casters. So currently we are covering day 1. We might cover day 2, or it might go the way of Chicken Man or Dave Testa or Wardy or Steadfast or one of the other casters out there. So again, typically for a lot of these OSC events, Eddie does kind of rotate between casters and does give other channels the opportunity to cover the event as well. And again, this is also why it typically takes a couple of months, just because there are so many games, so many matches to schedule, to organize, and to get through as well. Oh boy. So when it comes to what we're casting, well, let's scroll down. Let's scroll down a little bit here. You can see still in the first round, still the first day of OSC Elite, we have Sig. We have Sig versus MindelVK. That is going to be our first series of the broadcast. We're going to be focusing on this portion of the bracket. We're going to be casting Sig versus MindelVK into Percival. Then we're going to be casting Mini Zerg versus Moja into Eba. And then we're going to be casting Babe Marine versus Night Phoenix. So 5 best of 3s. 5 best of 3s. 10 in total. We casted 5 this morning, 5 this evening. That's the plan. That is the plan. Whew, here we go. Just catching up in the chat. So yes, we are going to be featuring quite a number of players here, and we have our first series of the broadcast. Going to be jumping on in. Up first is going to be our, there we go, 6th best of 1. Up first is going to be Sig and MindelVK. Game 1 is going to be on ley lines. Let's go. Right, let's go. This morning in the top left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss player himself. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Sig. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvP. Let's go, baby. Let us go. So now we are going to be settling into our initial matchup. So far, so good. We just see MindelVK setting up on the high ground. Meanwhile, Sigge setting up his own pylons and own gateways a little bit further back. And this is going to be an interesting matchup here. So coming into this year, MindelVK is one of the more veteran players of the scene, of the region. He's a bit of a younger player, true, but again, he has been around for quite a number of years at this point. And what I will say is that in recent times, he's been taking a step back from playing. Again, he's been doing a lot of casting, a lot of streaming, a lot of 2v2, a lot of StarCraft Evolution. He's been hosting tournaments, running events, casting set events as well, like the Firegrow Cup, like Sunny Lake Cup as well. So again, MindelVK, he's been taking a different role in this scene, is what I will say. But he's still competing, he's still laddering, he's still practicing, and every now and then he surprises me with his runs and with his results. Like I feel like I expect a little bit less of him as of late because, you know, he's taken more of a content creator role, but every now and then he still pops off. So he's still very much so in form, is what I will say. Meanwhile, Sigge, he is more of an up-and-comer. As Sigge, he started, I mean, he's been competing for a couple of months at this point, but only recently has started signing up for tournaments on a regular basis, signing up for our open tournaments, Sparkling, Tuna Cup, Morty TV Mondays, for example, Monday Night Weeklies as well. So Sigge, he has been rising through the ranks, and again, he's kind of entering that upper echelon of you know, up-and-coming GM players. I will say that Sigge is maybe one of the lowest ranked players in the bracket, but has a lot of potential, as a player. He's, of course, the Swedish Protoss player, and we'll see if he can keep up with MindelVK, because here comes the one-base all-in, the Proxy Robo. Oh boy. Here we go. Proxy Robo, one base all in, and now Sigge with his probe scout, he does know that the pylon is missing. He knows that, hey, this pylon is very late, so the second pylon is somewhere, and he responds with a Robo. Now, economic opener, Sigge, he goes Gate, Cyber, Expand. Gate Expand into Cyber Core in towards his Robo, so a very greedy build here by Sigge, and we'll see if he can get away with that greed. Now, MindelVK, he's fully aware of the greed of his opponent. That's why this all-in is going to be a little bit more potent. Now, thankfully, Sigge is responding, reacting with a Robo for his own defensive immortals, but we'll see if it's going to be enough. We'll see if it's going to be enough here. MindelVK, he is going to commit. He's going to double down. Here we go. The first immortal is on the way. There's some players that do go prison first to be able to drop into the bases and get economic damage. And no, straight for the immortal, straight for the wall, straight for the natural. This is where sentries and force fields are going to be key here to survive, to hold on, to buy time. Bearing in mind that Sigge has the defender's advantage, so even though he will be down in immortal for a period of time, he'll be able to reinforce faster. He'll have those shield batteries as well. He can pull some boys if need be. The lack of wall here is going to hurt though. And Epsa, he just freely shade in. Doesn't quite commit. MindelVK does hit the low ground, going for the shield battery. Uh-oh. Yeah, shield battery is under fire. And it's going to be targeted down. Oof. Yeah, with that now going for the main army. Oh, the immortal gets caught out though. Nice force fields. Very nice force fields. MindelVK will lose their first immortal. Ay, that should not have happened. Yeah, that should not have happened. With that, he does trade, but the immortal does stand strong, and Sigge, he holds. He's holding on. We have two more shield barriers behind this. We have another immortal on the way for Sigge, and that does shade in. But again, that was a big loss from MindelVK. That should not have happened. Should not have been caught out in such a way. And now suddenly, like, he doesn't really have much firepower here. He's going for the economy. Going for the warp in. Ooh, oh, okay. Oh my god, the force field though. Two immortals are stuck on the low ground. He's stuck outside his house. Stuck outside the main. There's no energy for a recall. Yeah, there's no recall available. Force field does run out. MindelVK, oh, forced out of the main base. He's gonna be forced out, does rotate behind this, so we have another immortal on the way. Still needs a little bit more time. Still needs more time. From here, catching out a sentry, but that's still three immortals. I do like the idea of MindelVK rotating back and forth and trying to hit wherever the immortals aren't, but again, that's a hefty immortal lead here for Sigge. Like, MindelVK, he cannot fight head on, especially not after losing that first immortal. Nice force fields. We go for the recall. Can we say? Look, we can't say one of the immortals. Nice catch there. Adam Mindel catching one. At the same time, though, there was a lot of force fields. He's running out. Now 2 for 2. Or I should say the immortal count here, 2 and 2 between the two players. Still very clutch, very close, very neck and neck. Shield battery is helping. It's back against the sentries. Triggers the shields. Gets another sentry. Down to 3. That's a lot of DPS being some of the sentries though. Nice save there from MindelVK. Saves the sentries. Sig barely holding on. Third immortal soon to arrive for both players. As Mindel dropping into the main. Dropping into the main base, going for the economy. Sig out of position. Uh-oh. And he does split up his army. Okay, does split up. Not losing too much, losing, what, 1 probe. Oh, depowers the Twilight Council, denies charge. At the same time, pushing on the right-hand side. Pushing into the natural once again, nice force field. But last the Immortal gets away. The shield barriers, they put in a lot of work, and without the Immortals, yeah, they're safe. The Immortals are safe. Sig collapsing on the army, forcing it back. And Sig is holding, Sig is getting further ahead. His natural waste almost fully saturated. This entire time has been slowly building up his workers. He's building up his economy. Soon he can spend that money. He has repowered his Twilight Council. The Immortal count's still looking quite high for MindelVK. Shield batteries now out of energy. Mindel dropping back into the main. Going for the pylon once again. Commits to the warp in. Going for the Twilight Council. Uh-oh. And we'll see if we get a night charge. Would be a big moment. Boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. Charge should be saved. I say that, taking a lot of damage. Oh no! One more volley, and charge is denied. Just barely. Denies charge. That is brutal. Now we're working with a bunch of slow lots. Prism zoned out. Mindel, he does come in from behind, does come in to reinforce. Oh. But Sig is still breaking out. Has to be so careful about those force fields. He has to be careful. Here come the slow loss. Let's go. I mean, he can still live a run, right? He still has a larger army. He's still getting on top of the robo. Immortal's getting caught out. Prism just went down. Yeah, and even without charge, Sig should still be okay here. Yeah, forced to engage, but he has the greater army. Kites back the weakened Immortals. We'll lose one. We'll get the other. Get the other Immortals. Still a very tense fight. Zealot slow lots are coming in to reinforce. The Immortal goes down. Uh-oh, Sig, we're overextending. He's overextending. They take so long to come in. The slow lot wrap around. They take so long. Ah, no. Feels slow lot, man. But GG gets called. GG gets called. We come in from behind, and alas, this is the final army of MindelVK. GG. Sig takes game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense final moment there when it comes to that game. Again, we saw that Sig, he was kind of losing a lot of units there, losing all of his Immortals, getting caught out in a way. The Zelta having a really hard time reinforcing and adding to the fight, but he still had enough. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And that leads us into game number 2. Let's go. Leads us into game 2. As game 2 is going to be on Pylon. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner. Sorry, bottom right hand corner here, Pylon. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Sidestone Gaming. I would say the favorite player in this series down there. We'll see if we can bounce back. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Swedish Protoss player, the Swedish Protoss, the blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Sig. Go. And again, it was just a really rough start to the all-in from MindelVK. If you remember, he lost the Immortal. Remember, he lost the first Immortal. So for what? For a shield battery. Like, it was not worth it whatsoever. It was a really rocky start, and from there, he was just playing from being behind to being down an Immortal that shouldn't have been the case. So it was a rough setup there for Mindel. Despite that, he had some good moments where he was able to rotate between the bases and pull Sig apart at least a little bit, but in the end, Sig, he was able to build up his economy, fully saturate his natural, at least mineral-wise. That's why he was working towards charge, because he had limited gas, and charge didn't really factor in, but he had enough anyway. He could still overwhelm, even if they were just slow lots. The slow loss, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Once again, MindelVK going for a 2-gate opener. Once again, Sig going for a gate expand. So we have a mirrored setup here. The same openers 2 games in a row. We have the same openers. With that, MindelVK is going to be tempted to, yep, 1 base all in. And this time we'll see if he can preserve his units. Well, this time we'll see if he can get the ball rolling. Again, Sig, he's known for this, known for this greed, I will say. It's interesting how he does place his buildings as well. There's a bit of a pro and con to this. On the one hand, this is technically more efficient. As you throw down your pylon and your gateway, because it's closer to the main base, you can throw this down and then go back to mining a couple of seconds faster than it would be to throw down at the wall instead. On top of that, your buildings are also safe. It means that if your opponent's going for the all-in, and if they have high ground vision, if immortals are barreling down that front door, then the production is exposed and they can focus on the gateway. So there's a bit of a give and take. The downside, of course, no SimCity. No SimCity, so adepts can threaten your bases even more, as they're free to shade in between your natural and your main. So there is that give and take. Mindel going for the proxy robo, meanwhile defensive robo out of Sig. Sig, he sees that the pylon is missing again. He doesn't really confirm what's going on. What's interesting as well is that Sig doesn't even move out with a second probe to scout, so he's not really checking, he's just assuming. It's a good assumption. Mindel is moving in. As you can see here, Adepts, they can just shade into the main. And Mindel, this time he will commit. He commits into main base. So Adepts taking 1-shot probes. 1, 2, 3 probes going to be going down, getting up to 4. Oh. Can he get up to 4? Not quite, just 3. 3 worker kills. A nice start here from MindelVK. He does escape with 1 Adept, so 1 Adept for 3 probes. Not a bad trade whatsoever. And we can see that Sig is still ahead in worker zone. Still up in worker, still up in economy. Mindel going prison first into the bay, into proxy disruptor. Okay. We're going for the disruptors. Drops into the main base. Again, this time he went for the prism, not the immortal first. So he's dropping straight into the main base, dropping right into the mineral line, and going for economic damage. And he's finding a lot of damage. So far, getting another 3 probes. That's 6 worker kills in total. True. 6 workers in total. Mindel pulls away. Disruptors in production. And this early on, if your opponent doesn't have a War Prism, it is so difficult to dodge Novas. Without a Prism, without Blink, Novas, they can excel. So we get 3 Adepts into the main base. Sig trying to react, trying to respond. Once again, their probes are going to be going down. Cancels the shade, going for the Adepts. Immortal poking in. As Sig does kill 1 Stalker. 1 Stalker going down for Mindel. Oh, getting zoned away. Getting zoned out. Mindel pulls back, Nova goes off, doesn't catch the sentries. Cheeky move there out of Mindel, doesn't pay off. The FSA still get into the main though. Get in. They do get in likewise. MindelVK pushing here towards the right hand side, pushing into the natural. But again, he's down in Immortals. And he cannot fight head on. This is, I mean, in a head on fight, outside of the Disruptor, of course. Oh no! The Nova! Disruptor goes down! Ooh, the Nova does graze the army. Shields are stripped. But down goes the Disruptor. Ay, ay, ay. Again, MindelVK, he's relying so heavily on these Disruptors. For the first one to go down, that is brutal. Siggy's holding. So he's up 10 workers. Adepts do shade into the main base. Charge is on the way once again. Sig going for the same response. He's forcing back Mindel. Adepts do shade back and forth. I mean, damage is being done, true, but this is still not enough. Mindel still needs more. That does fall. Moving in, nice Nova, very nice. Catching out the immortals, one immortal goes down. This is what we needed. But is it too late? The Solos are coming, they're back. Solos are back. Nova will soon reset. We'll have another Nova ready. And again, his target should be those immortals. Remember, there's no defensive War Prism. Like, there's no way to juggle. Never goes up. Up. Gets another immortal. That's 2 immortals going down. There's 1 immortal left. Solid Novas. Boys are being pulled. Charge is now done. The kiting here is solid. Kiting is solid. Second immortal moves in as well. Going for the Warburton right in the face of Sig. And Mindel, has he done it? Takes down the workers. Takes down the zealots. He'll soon have another Nova. Oh, has to be careful. Does have to take care. But finally, Zealot's enough economic damage. Sig falling behind. Oh, getting overwhelmed there. Never goes up. Wait for the Zealots. Gets a couple of charge loads. And again, Sig doesn't really have much to work with. Zealots pounce on the Disruptor. Oh, Disruptor goes down. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from MindelVK. He will lose the Disruptor. Force to pick up. Force to get out of here. Impressive fight from Sig. He's on the chase. Another Disruptor's coming. The flanking Nova. The flanking, go for it. Oh, these immortals are so low. 1 immortal goes down. We're down to 2, down to 1. No, bit of miscontrol. Disruptor, it's so close. Yeah, Nova goes off, but last immortal does survive. And Sig, he does it. He breaks out, takes the fight. GG gets called despite some amazing Novas. Sig, he will take the game and the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. A very, very intense series here. Very intense game 1 and game 2. Especially here, like again, MindelVK, he was fighting damage. His Novas were connecting. He was able to catch 2 immortals. He was able to cripple the economy. I say cripple the economy. Able to get 10 worker kills. Able to take an economic or worker lead. Obviously, his economy was still worse than his opponent because he was mining from 1 base instead of 2. But still, he was fighting damage. He was gaining value. But alas, he did have a hard time juggling towards the end there. He was having a hard time controlling his army. His immortals were getting picked off one after the other. He wasn't quite able to preserve them. Likewise, GG. GG well played. He was overwhelmed just barely. And congratulations, Sig. He takes the series. This is a big win for Sig. Very well done. Very well played. As I mentioned before, Sig, he's a much younger player. He's a lot newer as well. I would say that Sig, he's, again, one of the newer faces in this tournament. He only popped up on my radar at the start of the year, around the start of the year, at least in my mind, when it comes to competing in tournaments. And I remember he was speaking about it when he was playing in our tournaments as well, how he gained a lot of confidence, you know, in the previous Rising Star tournaments. And yeah, he's been dedicating a lot of time. GG well played. A very impressive win here. I will say though that from what we've seen from Sig in previous tournaments is that his weakest matchup is PvZ, and that might come into play at some point. We'll see, because we're going to be following him not into a Zerg player, into a Terran. But this is one of the favorites. Oh boy. It does not get easier. It does not get easier from here. It only gets harder and harder, because up next we're going to be featuring Sig against a Terran opponent, against a Korean Terran. Oh boy. Papi,